What's up, Vaquero Nation? Tony, Fabian, and Ben here to recap UTRGV's first loss of the season. This week's Vaquero Up podcast is sponsored by Trevino's Auto Mart, a family-owned and operated McAllen staple for 30-plus years. If you're from the Valley, you've probably known someone who bought a pre-owned vehicle from Trevino's Auto Mart. Over 10,000 vehicles sold and counting. They maintain a top dealer rating and bring big car store quality with better deals and a zero-pressure grassroots experience. Trevino's Auto Mart. Aquí, si te tratan como familia. Visit trevinosautomart.com or stop by 2409 South 23rd Street in McAllen and ask for the Vaquero Up special. Trevino's Auto Mart, appreciate it. Thanks for the support. All right, guys. So, Ben, you were at the game. Fabian and I both watched it on TV. This was an eye-opener. This was UTRGV's first loss of the season. It was their first conference game on the road. What were your initial impressions of the game?
I think that the vibe before to the stadium was the guys are ready. The guys were ready. The guys were pumped. They were excited about this. Fans were excited about this. We get to the stadium. A little different from our presentation as far as tailgating. Shout out to the Louisiana boys that accepted us with open arms. Baseball guys as well. Not a big show as far as outside the stadium,
Okay.
Neither inside the stadium, but leading up, going into the game, I think that we got what we thought we would get, and that was that finally that punch to the face.
Yeah.
It happened.
Yeah.
It happened. It was just a matter of, okay, do we stop the bleeding, or does it continue, or is this going to be reversed where they put up 60-something points and
Yeah.
we put up none?
It felt like that at the beginning, like, oh, this is going to get out of
Yeah.
hand. They were moving the ball quick.
They did. I felt that our defense and our adjustments were made just right on time.
Yeah.
And maybe could have been done before, but getting our feet wet and our defense kind of saying, okay, let's all settle down. We witnessed it. This is the Southern Conference. And if you ask me, I mean, those big boys on the other side, I mean, they're just as big, even bigger than us.
Yeah.
Fast. You saw it.
Yeah.
We adjusted just fine.
Yeah.
I think you said it best last week. I think that was going to be the biggest surprise or the biggest, I guess obstacle that these guys were going to face was like the speed of the game. You can tell it was much faster. Just the fact that they had two quarterbacks, I mean, that's hard to adjust for a defense. You try and read, the first guy, then all of a sudden you have another guy, and the other guy comes back. It's really hard for them to adjust to. But I think you said it perfectly when, speed was way different from what they've played the previous four games.
Yeah, the first few games that we played during the season, we were faster, bigger. It seemed like more experienced than the people we were playing.
Yep.
As soon as we stepped on the field against Southeastern, it was like, whoa, this is conference play. Like,
Yep.
These guys knew what they were doing. The confidence was off the charts. And when I saw them against LSU, they looked small. And then us against Langston and Sol Ross, we looked big. And then we step on the field with these guys, and they were a little bigger than us, I think, at every position.
Right, they were.
And it was like, whoa, they were opening up holes that you could drive a semi through. And it's like, man, we were doing that to Langston.
Yeah.
And they were doing it right back to us. But the score, you're right, it could have gotten 60-0, but they made the right adjustments and they stopped the bleeding. But the biggest thing for me was, wow, this is conference play. It was very different.
Yeah.
And I'd like to point out also that let's not forget that Southeastern is a school that feeds to the monster of LSU.
Yeah.
We're not feeding kids to Texas or A&M. Not yet.
Not yet, yeah.
But that's a school that has 4 years of recruiting.
Yeah.
We have one. So they've got some studs there.
Yeah.
You ask me, you take away a few big plays. I mean,
It's a
we're
different
right
ballgame.
back in the game.
Yeah.
And I think, Coach Bush said it best last night. It's like they put themselves in a hole a little too deep and a little too early, and they got out of it a little too late.
Yeah.
21-0 is hard to come back from. With a team that has that amount of talent. They did, though. They almost ended the half, with a one-score game. So a lot of little things that could have happened, didn't happen. That's football. But I think this gives our boys and our coaches an opportunity to see, like, man, this wasn't as bad as people may have thought. And I think that just, even though it was a loss, I think it's a big confidence booster.
If we play that same team 10 times in a row, knowing what we know now, how many times do we win?
Just on sheer talent alone, man, I think we do pull off maybe about 3 out of 10.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a very talented team.
Yeah. One thing I did take away from that game was, I know the score was 45-31, but it didn't feel that close. I know we, at the end of the first half, we ran that fake spike and got us into scoring position. And then at the end of the second half, I believe we also scored. I think they might have pulled their guys off. So I think we truly scored 21. Yeah. And those are off of Marburger's passes and running our real offense. I think that might have been our biggest test for the rest of the season, because looking at the rest of the conference, Southeastern looks like the strongest team. I know Incarnate Word lost. Southeastern was going to be the number 3 team at the beginning of the conference, at the beginning of the year, and Incarnate Word is probably no longer number 1. So I think playing them in our first conference game is going to set up the rest of the season to be probably successful, because they were a pretty tough competition.
Yeah, I think it sets the tone. I think that we learned a lot. Yeah. I think that our coaching staff learned a lot. I think maybe we started going downfield a little too late. We're trying to get small chunks when the Vaqueros, their identity is go down the field.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we started doing that a little late.
Yeah. I think they relied on big plays too much. Diaz had 113 yards receiving, and I think that was off of like 4 or 5 catches. Yep. And they were mostly big plays. Yep. Marburger was our leading rusher, right? And that hasn't been the case any of the first 4 games. So our 100-yard per game rusher, they couldn't go nowhere. Yep. And it wasn't on them, is that the line was not opening up holes, and that's more credit to Southeastern.
But I think that was predicted. I mean, again, I think I said it last week where, that box was going to be where the game was going to be won or lost. And they lost it. That box was just very, very talented. You weren't going to get more than 80, 90 yards on them, and we got way less than that. But I think that was to be expected. And I think you said it best. That was our identity, against the 4 previous teams we played, is big plays. But, on the contrary, I think they did what they needed to do and what they could do, because Southeastern was ready for big plays. Yep. So they had to nickel and dime this game to be able to open up the big plays. And they did. They opened up 2 or 3 big plays, to Tony and to those guys. But it was a different, strategy. It was a different, game that Coach Bush had to play. And I think he played it well. He played it well to as much as he could, being that they were Southeastern and being that they were as talented as they were.
All things considered, they did put up, like I said, 21, I think, true points. And that was more than Southeastern allowed to La Tech earlier in the year. That's so that's a good testament to UTRGV to be able to put up that many points on a defense that doesn't give up points, especially on the road. So I thought that was really cool.
Pre-game, talking to a handful of Louisiana boys down there. Again, thank you so much, you guys. Top-notch guys.
The big boys.
Well, they gave us some beverages.
Oh, okay.
So,
adult.
That explains your text messages during the game.
There it is. And they pointed out, without me saying anything, they said, what the heck's going on down there? You guys have facilities. You guys have the backing, the community, sold-out crowds. They even pointed out, who the heck sells out a Tuesday baseball game in Texas? I said, we do.
Yeah.
We do.
Wow.
So for them to kind of point that out without me saying anything means something to the Valley. I mean, people are taking note. People are taking note of what's going on down here.
What, if anything, from the game, like on the field, what do we take away that was positive? Being able to adjust to a team of that caliber is a big deal. I mean, it was obvious they were making changes. So those changes were effective, and then to be able to be effective on a team of that caliber, it just lets you to, gives you that confidence. Say, you know what, I can change things up. I can come in with a game plan. There's a lot of times where you go into games and say, I have a game plan, but it didn't make a darn what I do. They're going to adjust to it. They're going to beat me either way. In this particular game, with this particular caliber team, Coach Bush was still able to adjust and still able to do what he did. Defensively, even though they put up the amount of points they put up, again, like Ben said earlier, they were big plays. You take off 2 or 3 big plays, and that's really the way you kind of, judge a team, where if they're able to beat you and basically do what their will is, then that team beat you. Yeah. This particular team had just very, very big plays, and that was the way they won. I know, Ben, you traveled with the team. What was the vibe like afterwards, either on the plane or walking with the players? What did they actually feel?
The obvious was they're a little upset. Nobody likes to lose.
Yeah.
But I think that they were just ready to move on to this following week, and they, some of them said it themselves. They said, "Hey, look, we didn't perform to our level. They outplayed us, and we're on to next week."
Yeah.
That's a good mentality to have. But they also pointed out that they got outplayed.
The more self-aware you are as a team and as a player, man, that's going to make you more successful because you need changes. You need something, to be better the following week.
Yeah, they can prepare all week, all season long, but until you actually play the game and adjust to the speed and the size and the coaching schemes, you don't know. And now they have 7 more conference games going forward. They got a better idea of what to expect.
But I'm with you, Tony. I think that this might be the hardest one. But I think that Southeastern is probably one of the toughest teams we'll face.
I think so, too.
All right, here are a few interesting takeaways I had from the game. Southeastern had more time of possession than we did, 33-27. That was probably just the run game, just establishing the run from the beginning. They didn't have a whole lot of big plays in the air. They were just running the ball. We were 4 for 4 in the red zone scoring, so that's either field goals or touchdowns. So I think that's something to be proud of.
Yep.
And then we were also 3 for 12 on third downs, which was pretty par for the season. And we've kind of been in the low percentages on third down conversions, so that's probably something that they got to work on. Coaches, if you're listening, as Ben says, get back to work.
Get back to work.
We also confirmed that Marburger can throw the ball against anybody.
Yep.
And he can scramble.
He was our leading rusher.
He can scramble. That surprised me.
Yeah.
That's my biggest takeaway. Marburger can scramble.
Yeah.
And I gotta say, I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it.
I mean, he's shown it. He's shown it throughout the year, but he never had to scramble.
I'm gonna take so much heat for that, huh?
What about it made you not expect it, Ben?
You see him in person. He's a big boy. He's a tall dude. He's just, and he's pretty damn fast.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe it's those big, huge defenders running after him made him a little faster.
Yeah.
But that surprised me.
Yeah.
I mean, not just once or twice. I mean, a handful of times he just got out of trouble.
Yeah.
Because he needed to.
And you know what? I think that's going to be a something that Coach Bush may put into the repertoire.
Yeah.
I think running him is going to be to your benefit, and I think running him is going to be absolutely needed if you want to be effective. Unfortunately, in this world, your two-way quarterback, man, you have to have a decently running quarterback that can sling the ball, and you have that in this kid.
Yeah, and I know he threw his first pick of the season, which 5 games in, having thrown 1 pick. Those are pretty good touchdown to interception ratio.
And going back real quick, Tony, to your red zone effectiveness for UTRGV, we don't ever give any love to the place kicker. Not bad.
Yeah.
All season long. So I think his name is Bryson.
Yep.
I mean, shoot. He's kind of like under the radar, but hey, shout out to our kicker.
Yeah, somebody we can count on.
Yeah. All right, so what are we looking forward to this coming week?
I got us coming back home crowd, getting after it early, a good lead, and holding on to it just barely.
Wow.
Just barely.
Okay.
I don't think that their boys are going to be as big. I don't think that box is as talented and as physical as what we just saw. So I do see that we are going to get more yards on the ground. And that's just going to open things up, So I do feel these guys are going to come back, even though they lost. They're going to come back with confidence, and I truly think they're going to take it by a score and a half.
Okay, so prediction on score?
I got one more thing before prediction.
Give it to us.
956. 956 has to show up. We got to show up. The energy that we had week 1, week 2, 3, 4, we got to show up because this is important to us.
Yeah.
One loss doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
Let's get after it. 956. I'll see you at the tailgates. I'll see you at the stadium. and we got to show up for these boys.
Yeah,
It's
first
a
conference
must.
first conference
First
home
conference
game.
game.
And I think on that note, Chase said it best in an interview. If you have tickets and you're not going, man, sell them, give them away, do something.
Yeah.
you
Yes,
know, at least
something.
give them away, or sell them at what you bought
Yeah.
them for. But let's have them out there. But my
Let's
prediction.
bring the roar in the crowd.
give the prediction?
I didn't give it one. You go first. I want to see.
He wants to modify his number based
Come
on
on.
what he hears from you.
Honestly, I'm looking at a 24-17.
Wow.
UTRGV.
HCU with good defense, huh?
Yeah.
I got UTRGV 32, Houston Christian 27.
Okay.
32-27. I think that we light up the scoreboard early, and
I hope so.
And we hold it. We hold
Yeah.
defense.
I'm going with 31-17 UTRGV. I do think they are going to come in with a little bit of chip on their shoulder to prove that, hey, we can hang in this conference. They've seen what the speed and the size of Southland Conference looks like. They're going to make the adjustments this whole week. Coming back home, I think they got some momentum, even though they're coming off a loss. But I think they're going to try to make a statement saying, hey, that first game wasn't who we really are. Let's show them who we are.
If you don't mind, I think I have one comment, and I don't know, hopefully people can comment on the comments in the video, is one thing that's been bothering me about this whole thing is the reason we can't rally behind these guys. I'd like to hear the comments on why. I hear a lot of guys saying, they're not good, basically saying they suck. Give me a reason why.
Haters going to hate, man.
No, there has to be a reason for the hate, and I'd like to know it. Like, hey,
Bots.
you know what? I didn't play football. I sucked. I played whatever.
Yeah.
But hey, man, give us your reason on why we can't rally around these guys.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to see these guys at work. Everybody's 8 feet tall behind that little phone screen. But I tell you what, to all the haters out there, just it's the 956. You can back us up a bit. Let's unite on this one. After year one, do what you want. But right now, 956.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, these guys have backed up the Cowboys and the Texans for many years.
Oh,
I think we can do the same thing for our guys.
And we got a better record.
that's right. That's right.
So that's all I got, man.
All right. Vaquero Nation, appreciate it. See you next time.
See you guys.
If you want to sponsor the next Vaquero Up podcast, hit us up.